嗨，今天又是我们那个公民大学的上课时间。今天是11月16号，星期四，这是我们定期的每个月的星期四的讲课。上个月的话呢，讲的课呢是讲的城市规划。今天的话呢，在这个城市规划的基础上呢，跟大家来到这个我身边这个地方，看到这地方写的是密苏里 City Regional Water Treatment Plant， 也就是说这个水处理厂。这个地方呢是一个水厂，这个水厂供应我们这个地区的这个水，这附近的居民就是水，因为一个城市的这个用水非常重要。我们知道，我们这个城市离不开电、水电，这是两个最基本的保障。这个城市的那个用水用电是怎么安排的？是怎么设计的？这个水厂的话呢，距离在密苏里 City 的一个南边，这是个新区，叫做 Sayana Plantation， 在 Sayana Plantation 的里面因为这个新区好大一片，建立以后的话呢，被容纳到我们这个社区里面，到这个城市里面。这个城市来了之后的话呢，需要扩建这个居民用水的地方，用水量就加大了，就需要先修建新的水厂。这个水厂的话呢，可能是新建的一个水厂，在这个地方。今天这个讲课的内容的话呢，就是涉及到这个水厂是怎么建造，是如何什么时候修建的吧？就关于这个水厂。然后呢，再介绍一些这个水处理的常识。这个水厂的话呢，可能现在各个地方的水厂可能都是同样的工艺，差不多。我估计可能是差不多的工艺，大概分3个步骤吧。第一个的话呢，就是水来了以后的话呢，经过先简单处理之后，把那些杂质去了之后的话呢，第一个呢就加入那些沉淀剂吧，像这个漂白粉不是漂白粉，就是像明矾之类的导入那个水里面。然后呢，第二步呢就是搅拌，让它充分均匀进来呢，让它的那些沉积物沉淀下来。沉淀下来以后的话呢，最后的话呢再进入消毒处理，就可以进入自来管线里面。这个水厂在这个挺偏僻的，这附近你看都没有人，他是专门找了这么一个地方，可能设计，这就跟早期的城市设计有密切关系。城市设计之后，要把这个水厂、电厂在那安排在什么地方很安静。我还是第一次来到这里。有了这个水厂，这水处理之后就进入水管。今天的话呢，讲课我们听听这个讲课是介绍我们这个水厂是怎么建造的。最主要的话呢，可能有兴趣的人就主要是这个水厂的这个资金安排。可能的话呢，因为这个城市的这个投资是很大一笔投资，现在这个挺大规模然后呢，在于运营管理可能同时会参观一下它的整个那个蓄水池和它的这个水处理的过程会介绍，应该是很有兴趣的挺期待的。一会的话呢，上课之后的话呢，再继续跟踪，再继续讲解这个事情。这是今天讲课的地方，现在来了，好像很多人都迟到了。现在这个课堂里面的人都是就是部分学员到了，还有好多人可能没有录到，因为这个地方比较偏僻，可能加上这时间调整比较天黑的比较早，所以的话呢，很多人都还没到。我们在等了一个。人到了以后的话呢，我们先去参观，做一个参观，带着去看的这个水处理厂的一些蓄水池和整个处理的过程。 这也会这个印度人就好像是这个地方的主管，他将会给我们今天做这个水厂的介绍。这两个就是这地方的工程师和这个工作人员。密苏里城的公司的官员啊。Good.
My name is I'm a member of the communications department. I'm the senior media relations specialist, and I want to welcome all of you. And I want to thank you for taking up your time this evening because it's dark. It's not cold, but it feels as if it was cold. Anyhow, we're very appreciative of you taking your time. I'm glad you're here because today the presentation today is going to be about a department that everybody knows about, Public Works. But nobody really has, unless you work for a municipality or you have a relative who works in public works, it's difficult to grasp what they do because they do so much. So public work has been described as the heartbeat of every city. And I really like that analogy because when you think of it, think of your heartbeat. When you wake up in the morning, you don't have to turn it on. You go about your day and you don't have to pay attention to it working fine or not. And that's what public work does. They're always there. They're always working. You don't really see them, but just to give you an idea as to the tasks that they are responsible. Think about it. But imagine if they did.
主要是一些城市的公共设施，从路灯到供水，这些所有的这些公共设施都属于城市的自己的管理。
Hurricane Harvey in 2017.
I want to welcome you on behalf of the Public Works team and our contractors here to the Citizens University presentation. Now, why are you here at Citizens University? To learn how your local government functions. And one of the major departments in local government is Public Works. So we're going to give you a glimpse of what Public Works is, what we do, and when you leave here, just like Claudia said, you will leave with your hearts pumping because you'll know what we do here a lot more than what you came here. That's our purpose today. I want to introduce my key members of my team. Walter Stell, who's the assistant city engineer. He does a lot of review of development projects, as well as managed capital projects, the big construction type projects. And assistant director Joy Johnson. She is the bread and butter of public works, streets, drainage, and traffic operations. So if you had an issue of traffic getting here, now, Kayla, if you could please rise. She is our CIP coordinator. You know, you all wanted on the bond program, and we are working on a number of projects. She is the one coordinating and managing the bond projects. Now, we are a big team. We can't do all this by ourselves. We have contractors. We treat them as an extension of staff, which is Quail Valley Utility Districts. They run and operate the plants for us. Hector is the general manager of Quail Valley, along with Jordan, who's here. They've kept this place pristine and ready to go for us. So the drill today is I'll just give you a little glimpse of you're here at the city's regional surface water treatment plant. What this plant does is take water from the Brazos, treat it, and send it. So the first thing we want to do, and I know it's already gotten dark, but we have some adequate lighting, and all of you have come with nice walking shoes. I'll give you a little glimpse of what this water plant is. Then you can do the tour, come back, and then we'll talk about other subjects. Because even if there's a little glimpse of light left, we want to avail that one. So you met the team. We're giving a tour of the surface water plant. Then we'll come back and talk about Public Works Department, so what the Public Works Department does for you, and of what we do, how it impacts the quality of life of our citizens. And we can take any questions, but please refrain from questions when we are presenting, but we'll give you ample time to ask any questions after our presentation and during the field tour as well. This is the regional surface water treatment plant. This was built in 2012. The planning started in 2010.
这个
The initial
水
capacity
厂
was
是
10 million gallons a day. You know,
修
million
建
gallons
于
of just milk. 10 times
2012
that was the initial capacity. We
10年
expanded
前
that to 20 million gallons a day in 2021. And guess why we expanded it? The city is growing. We had to meet more customers coming in. And by the way, we got some nice
10
cities
年以后又差不多是2021年的时候，又扩建成
We'll keep you engaged all along. So
第
I'll
二
ask
期
you some，
第一
questions.
期是
What was the driving factor? Now, a lot of our water supply comes from
10个
groundwater
密
wells.
链
It's
交
all
了
known.
第二期是
Now,
20个
here
密
what
链交
we're doing is
由
we're
于城市
taking
的扩
water
建
from，the Brazos River, which is almost like your iced tea, treating it, which you'll see it in a minute, and sending it to some customers. Not all part of the city gets treated surface water. Most of the cities. So, with that little introduction, we're going to do the
这
plant
个
tour. It should take you
水
about
厂
20 minutes.
是
Then we come back. The restrooms are back on the site. You
这
use
个
the
水厂
restrooms and rinse yourself or
因
cleanse
为
yourself.
它
You have the
是
rest of the
2010
presentation.
年建造到2022年
So hopefully the
12
dinner will be
年
back there.
开始
Now,
使
we
用，
do have some
是又有比较
nice parts
最
here, so we're
先
going
进
to
的
take
技
a
术。
group presentation inside the membrane building. So we'll join you. Some of, I think Hector will walk you on the tour, and some of my team members will also join you on the tour. I think there is adequate lighting, but be careful. There are some stairs.
这
I know
个
that
地
everybody is
区
very comfortable. Shoes
是
will be a little bit
属于
cautious.
非常先进的一
Dark
个
out there, and we'll see you back in about 20-25 minutes. Thank you.
Jordan Delay,
非常先
this is
进
his
的
child, he's the guy that runs the
先进的
plant day-to-day
水厂。
operations. He's gonna give us the tour.
You want to go that way or this way?
Whichever way
Okay,
you want.
we can just come out this way and we come out
OK，
right here. and then-
现在我们就马上去参观各个的参观这个水厂的具体。哦，Thank you。
So we'll come this way, we'll go up top, and then on the way back.
这个是水厂的这个处理设备，这个叫做 membranes。这是我们整个的这个今天上课的学员。这个的水泵。水厂的水泵，现在这建制的这个是水的那个水储水池，应该是它的储水池里面负责加这些化学用品的化学品，像明矾之类的东西，应该是在这个水里面加。在这个地方，我们再看看上到这个，看到这个水厂的这个储水池上面。
Across that little levee over there is our intake system. It's a bar screen. We bring water in through there to fill the reservoirs, which are there's 3 big pumps over there. It'll get pumped all the way around the reservoirs, come back in to this little manhole right there. At that point, we hit it with some coagulant, what Shashi was talking about. It pretty much mixes with the water. Sorry. And that's not too bad. I mean, I've seen it where it's chocolate milk. Like it's yoo-hoo. And as it goes through, we have 2 different sides. This one that we're on right now.
现在我们脚下的话呢，这地方就是那个水池，在这个水池里面的话呢，就是这些地下，就是这些地表水被送到这个地方来，河的水，经过这地方水里面进行处理，就要进行搅拌， 你脚下底下这些就是水池。
See how clear the water is right here? You see a bunch of fish swimming. We got some big fish. Over here is just some little guys, but over in this next section to themselves, and they come and go. There's 2 bald eagles that live in a tree over there, and another, I think, Mexican eagle is what I was told. I don't know the difference really, but we see the bald eagles every now and then. Every now and then they'll sit between the reservoirs and, you know, look for food and stuff. So through this process, usually what's happening when the plant's running, that the water will come up over these weirs right here, and you can kind of see those circular tubes right there. Those go all the way down about 8 feet or so, and that just allows that dirt to kind of get filtered out and settled out. Down in the bottom of each of these basins, there's 2 rakes that we get all that mud out, and then we pump it through a belt press, and they take it and drop it in the landfill. We squeeze as much water out as we can, and then we take it back and we reuse it. So not to be wasteful. So and you can see kind of some of the stuff floating around in there. That's the flock. That's what's mixed with that coagulant and the dirt and the water, and every now and then it get some floating stuff, and these things are just algae growers. So we come in and we pressure wash them, and it's tough sometimes, but we'll walk down here. Oh yeah, lots. Murky, and it's moving water, and then it comes to clear. Kind of cloudy right now, but yeah.
这是经过处理后的蓄水池。
That canal that he's talking about runs down that way, and it goes all the way to Texas City, and they feed various farms and stuff like that, and fields and stuff along the way.
因为现在天黑了，这外面有一个运河，这人工河流。这河流的话呢，前面的话呢是大概半英里的地方，就是这个 Brother River。Brother River 是我们这地方的一条主要河流，这个河流提供水源，一路到很多地方都陆陆续续给不同的地方供水。
Decoration deal.
So how many people work in this sign?
We have six operators, myself and
6.
five others.
Only 6. Oh, okay. 他只有6个人在这地方上班。这2个蓄水罐，天黑的2个蓄水罐，就是把这个水处完了以后的话呢，就储在这个地方，然后呢，下面有那个泵打到各个这附近的这几个居民区。这个一个罐的话呢，大概说是300个加仑，300万个加仑的储水量。我们又回到了这个前面这个让水处理店的。这个设备，这些主要是这些泵在24小时不停的运转。那个这些设备就是管控设备。这些设备都要定期保养，因为它这个水在这个地方的话呢会有沉淀。保证这个地方管道的畅通，要定期的话冲洗，还是要加的这些水。 添加的一些化学物品。这个水话呢，水厂呢每个的处理过的水要经过这个地方的管线，反正这是最后的一个步骤。这个步骤的话呢，进行每一个进行过滤，这是一个过滤的那个管线。这个参观过程就结束了。就走了这一圈，这整个的水厂，马上就是这样。Thank you。这是他们的这些办公室。水花。
And then it comes out this tiny little hole up at the top. Wow. And this is kind of what the bottom of the, you can pull it off if you want.
Membranes. 它这个里面的那些 filter.
That's kind of what it goes through the wall of that. So here's the bottom.
是过滤的这个东西。
Yeah, well, they're really tightly packed. So in each of these, there's 6,300 and some change. So roughly like 6,300. Of these fibers that the water gets sent through. Every now and then we'll have a fiber that breaks. And the reason we
这
know
些都
that
是
is
自动的这些电脑的
Thursdays
控
an
制。
integrity test. We pump them full of air up to about 30 psi, and then all the valves.
在这个地图上可以看出，这个地方就是我们在现在所在地方，处于休斯顿的西南角上面。西南角上的这个水厂，它这个水不至于的话，那么整个城市是区域性的，根据人口的分布和需求的需求，来修建这个水厂。
That the water's coming out of the holes on this, and these little stainless steel. So we're pretty much going up there and just guessing where the let's just guess.
这就是刚刚那个 members， 它要定期去换。这个换呢，主要是水就是从这个很小的这个管线。通过进行过滤，它有这个成千上万的好多这个管线，过滤完了之后，但是出来以后呢，还有这些成型物质呢。
For the racks, it handles all the cleanings. I do all the integrity tests from there, and we can change the flow. You know, if we got some rain or something, we can drop it down. That way the plant kind of stays on longer, or we can bump it up. The highest I've had to put it at is like 16,000 gallons a minute, and that's moving some water. It's, but it handles it since they did this expansion. And then this other one, well, open up one of these. So each rack has that amount of valves on it. And throughout different processes that the racks go through, every 33,000 gallons it goes through an air scrub where it just pumps our chlorine pumps. We can set our dose and kind of watch it, see where we need to go, and then we test, like I said, every day. We do multiple samples throughout the day. But we do have analyzers and stuff online that will kind of give us a real-time reading of what sort of residual we're putting in there. That way we know if we're real low.
So how many people operate those?
6 people. Well, 5 people.
No, just normally the working hours usually like 2 people or?
Oh no, we're
6 people
well, no,
all the
it's
time.
spread out throughout 24 hours. So
Yeah.
in the morning we have 3 or 4, and our laborer. I've got one guy that works till 9, and then I've got a night shift guy that works 9 to 5 a.m.
Okay.
So we're 24 hours right now.
24 hours.
And
Like a
hopefully
night shift
by-
is only like a 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's just 1 or 2. I would like
Okay.
to get at least another guy just for
Security, yeah,
safety, and,
safety.
and if something happens. But we all have our phones, and we get alarms on this gate. It'll send out alarms. Anything happens. If one of the valves at one of the sites doesn't open, it'll send me whoever's
alert.
on call an alarm
Okay.
and let them know. And the alarm goes to everybody, not just the on-call guy.
Oh,
So
okay.
we all get it, and we kind of back each
So
other up.
everything is like automated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
We're pretty
there's
much
like
here just to make sure if something happens, we can get it back
monitoring
going.
those.
Oh, okay, that's what I was gonna
Yes.
ask. So if this automation fails, what happens?
We stop making water.
Yeah.
Honestly, unfortunately, if something like that, or communications, if we had a fiber line that was cut over by Elkins, I think they were putting up a new street light. Centerpoint was putting a street light up and they cut a fiber line. We couldn't send water because we had no communications to know what they needed. So they got it back up pretty quick, doing some cell modem stuff. Got a cell modem and then they fixed something. But
Okay.
that's just from here to their sites, to see environmental sites. So I don't see what's going out to the residents. I just see what they're taking.
Oh, okay.
And that's how that goes. But and they're good about it. If they have a leak or something, they'll call me, and I'll stop sending water one way. It's pretty easy to do. Or they'll be like, hey, we got a main break. We got to shut this valve. Can you put them on groundwater? And then at that point, they'll isolate that break, and then that plant will go on their wells.
When you shut about the valve, you just doing the computer work, or you have to go there physically?
No, yeah, we'll have to actually go out if it's a valve along the like the transmission line. They'll have to go out and there's different
tie it
valves
up,
throughout,
okay.
yeah, put a wrench on a T wrench on it and
Tied up.
turn that
Okay.
thing hell
Oh,
out.
okay.
But like as far as I go, I can like this site's calling for water right now, and this is in Siena. If the sea environmental guy calls me and said, hey, we're overflowing, and I'm like, well, I'm only showing 17 feet, but he's like, my guy's out there, can you stop sending water? I can just click here, it'll stop sending water, it says it's in groundwater, this valve's gonna close, and then they're not gonna get any more water from us until they tell us, hey, you can
Okay.
do it. So communications, big in this, especially with them, since we don't operate those plants, once it gets to that clay valve and goes through it, it's not our responsibility. But we help them and they help us. And that type of
So
stuff.
what's the learning curve
基本上这个整个水厂都是自动化。
statistics?
So
但是
really
除了
it's
一
just
些
watching
阀
the
门
plant
的话
run.
呢，
There are classes and stuff that
就
you have to
是
take to get
离
certain
开
licenses.
这个
In the state,
实际上供水的阀门，可能需要一些人工
Um,
去
and then at the end, so
开
you
关
go
之
to
外
take
的话呢，
for
大多数
THC
这些
surface water license, you'll take
都
three
是通过
classes,
这些
basic water,
电脑啊
surface
这些
water
装置
license,
来控制。
and then you have to take a 50-question test that just asks you. So it's settled out because that's how much dirt's in the water. But when I first got it, and like I said, this isn't as bad as I've seen it. I've seen it's just chocolate milk. So that's what it is coming into the plant and going
就是
up top through the flocculators, and then after the membranes, after it goes through the racks, it's that. So that's what that does, and a lot of that is the settling up top with that coagulant. That that's what that does. It helps with that, and then the filter is what gets all that nasty stuff out.
is those are hot water or soft water?
It's hard water.
Still is hot
Yeah.
water. Okay.
It's scale forming, and that's not treated yet, so we can't drink that or anything.
Okay.
It's just that's what's after the racks. So
Okay.
after the racks, we don't want to put a bunch of chlorine and stuff in before the racks, because it'll eat up those fibers. We use some pretty strong bleach, and it
But this water go to the tank, right? Ready to pump
Yep.
to the.
So out after the racks, it'll come through up at the top. It goes up. It'll come out, and there's a big pipe right there that we walked by.
Yeah.
48-inch pipe or so.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this is. The CMF, combined
Okay.
membrane filtrate. And after that, that's where we hit it with some chemicals. We hit it with bleach and the hydroxide over here for pH balance. And then as it goes to the tank, we hit it with bleach. I say
Chlorine.
bleach, it's chlorine.
Chlorine.
And then we hit it with chlorine and LAS.
Okay, I see.
And liquid ammonia sulfate, and that's what gives us our residuals and our monochloramines and make sure that we're balanced. So yeah, and another pre-treatment thing we do use is chlorine dioxide, which is we use some chlorite, some hydrochloric acid, and some chlorine bleach. We hit that down at raw, and that just really helps with like iron, manganese, a little bit with the color of the water, and just a little it's just a precursor to what's going on up top. And then I got a sample. It's a chlorine residual is what we're looking at, so we want to make sure we don't have too much chlorine in the water where it's a swimming pool at a hotel. So we try to maintain between a 2.5 and a 3.0, 3.2 residual, just to make sure by the time it leaves us and gets through their tanks, and then by the time it gets through their tanks to your homes, it's got a it's got a good residual to make sure it's not going to form any sort of bacteria or anything in the line that's going to hurt y'all. And like I said, this one's just to check our chlorine residual to make sure that we have a decent amount. And this should be, with how the plant's running, it should be somewhere around a 3, maybe a little bit higher. And we'll see it here once I can figure this out.
这都是要有规定的这个水的质量。
And then we have different things. We have a pH meter that we do every day, multiple spots throughout the plant. We check the pH for, and so it'll be a nice pink. Our NTUs, which is just how dirty the water is that one right there. And usually the highest I've ever seen it coming in is like a 250 NTU. So 3.3 is what's in that tank right now. So by the time it gets, I'm not gonna guess, but by the time it gets to your house, they don't necessarily have to treat it at their site. Yep, we cut that one in half.
似乎这个原理都还很简单，就是好大一个味道，主要是一些工设备需要很多设计和制作。
Reports to the attention of public and using these forms such as Citizen University to let you know what we do and how it impacts the quality of your life. Now, this was the last Citizen survey that was done in 2020, and guess what? The residents of Missouri City wanted public works key services such as sidewalks, streets to be the #1 priority. Now, since Andre is there, I knew that he's going to be there. I put the new one. He's already doing another survey, and there is the barcode. You can scan that. Please don't do the survey now, but you can go back and do the survey to say that.
City engineer, and just so I can learn my crowd a little bit, is anybody else a civil engineer? Anybody an uncivil engineer? Oh, yeah, there we are, some uncivil engineers. Okay. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the engineering of our city and where engineering differentiates from operations. So in general, we could consider engineering drainage, traffic ops. That's Ms. Joy over there. Ms. Joy also, well, streetlights actually is handled by our administration team, and then emergency management. Myself, Sashi, and Joy are all part of the emergency management command. Talking about utilities, because that's why we're here, right? And we're all really interested in surface water and flushing our toilets and things like that. So, utilities. What we have here is, well, again, this is the map of our city, but I'd like to highlight all of these different colored patchworks. So it's like a very nice quilt. These are all of the months within our city, the municipal utility districts. I get a lot of phone calls. People say, hey, my water's not on, my sewer's not. Previously, we need to meet our society's goals.
今晚上呢订的是这个披萨。
Right right now our subsidence goal is 30% of the water produced within the city needs to be surface, and then the rest will be groundwater. By 2027, it's going to be, what was it, 60.
这个是上课结束了，这些是我们最后照个集体像在这个水厂。今天的讲的内容的话呢 ，The Public Works 主要的是讲公共设施的部门。这个城市的公共设施部门每年有几千万的预算来做城市维护。城市维护呢，大到像这个的水厂这么大的规模，小到人行路、路灯，还有地面的维护等等，这些都属于公共设施的维护。这个部门30几个人，专门35个人吧，是专门负责密苏里 City 的这些公共服务。最后这些所有的城市的工作人员和，Yeah，OK，Yeah，这样。这是所以的最后面照一项。
Be careful, it's a little heavy, so please give a helping hand. You stand in the middle. You guys have fun.
这是最后这一个还是很有意思，这场确实是这个整个城市的这个管理制度是完全对这些所有的居民、公民是公开透明的而且的话呢，对整个这样我们最后面照一个相最后呢，最后给大家照完集体像以后，今天的课正式结束，这些每个工作我们就离开了这个水厂，视频到这里结束。